Today, let's replace the timing set on this 2012 Subaru WRX. This is a stretch to fit belt, and this is how you get them off. Just cut them. Single use, can't reuse them. This car looks like it was in a front end collision. Yeah, she's been wrecked. Oh, by the way, I put it in 5th gear. Only 2 screws on that side. It's just a plastic cover. It doesn't have to be that tight. Piece of timing cover. Had what, 1 screw holding that side in? 2 screws came out, but the other one wasn't holding anything. And that screw on the bottom is missing. Holy cow, it doesn't need to be that tight. Let's line up the timing marks before we take it apart. Okay, the timing marks on the crankshaft are lined up. I'm definitely not the first one in here. Looks like someone did not have their guard adjusted properly. It's been rubbing against the timing belt, shaving some rubber off right there, and lots of scuff marks on there. Here's the passenger side timing marks. Top cam lines up with the mark there, and the 2 cams together, there are 2 marks on each cam sprocket that line up with each other. The double marks go together. And on the driver's side, we have the top cam sprocket lining up with the timing mark, but the bottom is off by a tooth about, so the bottom sprocket might need to rotate. And the last guy that did this AC belt, wow, yeah. Let's take the tensioner pulley out first. Something tells me that was a little more than 29 foot-pounds. That was a camshaft sprocket spinning. Let's remove this idler pulley next. Let's remove the belt. This is what happens when you don't follow instructions. You get all this rubbed off belt rubber right here. This was adjusted incorrectly. Too close. Alright, how tight was it? And there's 29, that's spec. 38. 29 is spec. 57. I'd say it's a little bit over tight. And this one, wow, that one was too loose. See, you need a torque wrench when you tighten these up. And I'm pretty sure somebody put the wrong bolt right there. That does not look like the right bolt. Of course, it's broken in there. Let's take these bolts off the cam sprocket. Well, let's see if this works or if I have to buy a tool. I might have to buy a tool. Alright, let's remove the intake and exhaust cam sprockets. Let's start with the exhaust. Ouch. It's time for another episode of How Tight Is That? 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Alright, it's 180 foot-pounds plus. I don't know, what's going to break first? There is no way we'd be able to do that without this special tool. That was well over 200 foot-pounds. I didn't break anything. Alright, let's take this exhaust cam off. Alright, just like I did with the exhaust cam, I've got the intake cam tool resting against the crankshaft pulley bolt. That'll make it easier to hold this while I turn the Allen screw. Alright, let's see how tight this one is. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 20, 30. Let's try this again. Something's not feeling right. It's overloading also, and my Allen key is not fitting right. I don't think these were designed to do over 200 foot-pounds. Holy cow. Well, let's see. Holy cow. That is starting to rotate in there. This is not good. This is absolutely nuts. Well guys, I need more room between here and here to fit my impact, so I'm going to have to recover the refrigerant and remove the condenser and put my impact on there. So either this works, or time for a long struggle to get that thing out. Okay, the old belt is secured with vice grips, and I gotta hold this, and let's see what happens. Alright, got more air pressure. Let's see what this does.
It's going.
It's going?
Yep.
Woohoo! Uh-oh. Hopefully it's the right kind of going and not the wrong kind of going.
Not anymore.
Well, let's give this one more shot, see if hammering on it helped. Might have helped. I got one click out of it. Let's see what the impact does again. Oh no. Once this strips completely, then I am forced to drill it out. Yep. Yeah, it's drill time. Drill, baby, drill. Well, let's see if we can get the exhaust cam sprocket off on this side here. Ouch. Let's try this. Got my 3/8 extension in there. This will hold it. Making sure all these are on there. And ready, set. Okay, one click so far. Come on, baby. Please, pretty please. You have got to be kidding me. Maybe I'll just click it back and forth a little bit and see what that does. Seriously, man? And that's a plastic sprocket. How crazy tight is it? That's crazy tight. Okay, here's the plan for this intake cam sprocket bolt. We're going to take this bolt, weld it in there, and then put a socket on here to take it out. Same thing with the other side. The other two on the other side are stripping out. They're well over 200 foot-pounds. I don't know what it is because I don't have a torque wrench that goes that high. Let's see if I have any luck on this water pump. Oh yeah, nice. Nice, they all came loose. Let's take these hose clamps off. This will either work or it'll strip out trying. Well, it stripped out trying. And this one will work or strip out trying. Yeah, it stripped out trying. Alright, so we got this welded up, bolt welded on there. Quick picture of this. Let's see.
Oh, busted. No, did it? Yeah, it busted that weld.
So, yeah, we melted into the bolt a little bit, but we just got to get the other bolt a little bit hotter.
What I'm going to try to do is when I go to weld, I'm going to weld these two gaps up. We can even add like something, I don't know. But I'm going to try to get a better penetration on it. So I'm going to turn it up a little hotter. Let's see if the fits.
Alright, here we go.
I don't see either one of them moving.
My bolt's not strong enough.
You're literally...
I'm literally twisting the bolt.
Holy freak. What do we got going on here, John?
We had a running car and now we don't.
That's for sure. Weld it on again. Let's see how the movies go, John.
Here goes.
You're moving. Oh, you... Looks good. Weld that up. Round 4.
Here we go. Man, it's just not strong enough.
I busted all of it. I'll grind that off and go weld that all in there again. That's freaking crazy.
All right, ready? Let's hope this works.
That's better.
Man, give it a shot.
Now you're twisting the bolt. Now that head's bolt's gone. Should I weld that head of the bolt on?
I'm gonna probably need something better than a grade 5 bolt here.
You want me to weld it up? I can weld that all the way up to the head. I'd give it wider, and then you have more surface area. Okay, we're on that. I'm tight right there.
Alright, here we go.
What is this, 5?
Probably number 5, yeah.
Come on. Come on. Here, hold on, John.
You said hold on?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where we'll keep going.
Okay, let me push that in. Alright.
Now we're busted. We're gonna go for a ride. Think that was a 500 or something? 300 foot-pounds?
It was a lot. 300 something, I think.
I can grind that down and go do another one, but we can make it fatter.
Okay, alright, here goes. Oh wait, let me push this in a little bit more. There we go.
I'm tight.
You ready?
I'm ready. Snap. Wow.
That was a lot of torque. That was more than I had twisted it on any other previous attempt. I think you need a new bolt there.
Holy freak.
Yeah, well, that's going to look really bad with those bolts.
With the what?
You're going to edit me out of there, right?
Yeah, I gotta go parallel with this plane here and
Punch it. Goes. It's going to break.
yeah, it's
We're ready to
breaking.
weld.
You break at the weld.
On that.
All right, let's see here.
You did
Nope,
break.
it broke through the bolt.
I gotta weld that whole bolt up.
Right through. Hollow? A hollow bolt. Okay.
You know what we should have done?
Sheared the threads right off. I mean, you'd think that the other one would come loose by then.
Yeah, we probably had to grind that or put a...
Okay. Let's see if this goes.
So what if we grabbed a hammer and lightly tapped it like an impact?
I had my impact on that for 10 minutes probably.
If I break it for you, would it be like bad?
Here
You
we
can
go.
see that there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
That wasn't that tough. Where's the hard one?
Well, how many welds did we have to do?
Well, if we just did it right the first time. Well, by the time we get to the third one, we'll be pros.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, the problem with the exhaust one is the cam sprocket is plastic, so it's best we just leave that as is.
No, yeah.
And don't even mess
So we're done.
We're done.
I quit.
He quits. Oh, man.
Taking my toys and I'm going home.
Is this your grinder?
It's Aaron's.
Bogies and grinders, bogies and grinders.
Let's pull off the intake cam sprocket. Now let's take off this back side of the timing cover. The nut behind here that's supposed to be embedded in the plastic is just spinning around. So the threads are stripped. There we go. There we go. So they tightened this screw in so far that it stripped. I mean, you don't tighten it that tight when you're going into plastic. Let's clean this up to avoid confusion on what's leaking now and what's old leaks. Let's remove this intake cam seal. And now let's get the exhaust cam seal. My favorite tool. This shaft isn't very pretty. It's got some corrosion, or it's just not shiny. I'm going to see if I can get some WD-40 and the Scotch-Brite pad and polish it up a little bit. Before we install this exhaust cam seal, let's grease it up. Notice that there's a joint in the metal. This part bolts onto that part. There's a seal or a seam in the head here, top and bottom, and so you don't want it to leak out of there, but you don't want to put RTV on the inside of that, because when you squish the seal in, then your RTV will go in and might clog these return holes, and then you're in for some trouble. So what you can do is put a little bit of RTV on the outside edge of the seal here. Just a little bit here, and that way when you squish it in, the RTV will only go towards the outside and not the inside. Now we've got it right above this square part there, and then there's a square indent here, and we'll do it on the opposite side there. So now we know it's exactly opposite of each other right there. So there and there, so that we can make sure that it seals right here and there. Remember, spring side goes in. And we line up top and bottom, so our RTV lines up with the crack. Don't like to call it a crack, seam, whatever. All right, pushing it in. Not feeling like straining myself today. And the same thing for the intake seal. Grease it up. And a teeny bit of RTV on the opposite sides. This oil dipstick is in the way of the cover going on for the new cover, and it's leaking down here where it goes in, so we're going to replace these O-rings when we pull the dipstick out. Cleaned this up to see what was going on, and guess what? Instead of replacing the O-rings, they just gooped a crap ton of RTV around this dipstick tube to hopefully solve a leak, and it did not solve the leak. Now it's made it a little more difficult to get out. Alright, come on baby. A little twisting action, and there it goes. Whole bunch of RTV when you don't grease the seals and you cram them in there, and then you re-cram them with a ton of RTV because you screwed up when you realize your bucket's not under the spill. This hose clamp right here was already loose. I didn't even have to loosen it up before I could take this part off. Let's try and pull some of this RTV out of here. Yeah, you don't want that in the oil pan. Alright, let's see if we can clean out this dipstick tube. Oh yes, that's smooth now. Before it was caked with RTV and whatnot. Now it's got a sealing surface, so if I put an O-ring in there, it'll seal. Let's pop this plug into the timing cover here. This is on the top of the timing cover for the driver's side, on the back half of the cover. Now we can install this. New bolt going in here. Let's install the dipstick. I'm not talking about the previous owner. Do I have to remove the AC? Oh, that's cute. They left one of the bolts out of the AC compressor. Yeah, I guess I'll have to remove the AC compressor. Alright, now the AC is out of the way. The dipstick can go in. Now this should be able to just push right in. Since the oil rings are all lubed up. Okay, these O-rings I'm installing are 1.9 millimeter diameter by, that's the cross-section diameter, by 9.8 inner, and there we go, perfect. Oh, and eventually those are going to wear out because of the exhaust. That heat will destroy the O-rings eventually. And bolt in the dipstick. Let's put this compressor back in place. We'll install that bolt in the place where it was missing. Yeah, it's tough, but it'd feel better if it was done properly. The AC compressor is now back in with all 4 mounting bolts. Whoever did this last time just broke up this wire holder instead of installing it onto the clip here. And let's install this exhaust cam sprocket. Some thread locker on the bolt. That should be plenty. Okay, torque spec is 22 foot-pounds plus 45 degrees. So let's take care of the 22 foot-pounds first. That's the easy part. There's 22 foot-pounds, and now we have to go 45 degrees beyond that. So, up to about there. Okay, just past my AC pulley, be about 45 degrees. Okay, I just had to rotate my screen. That's about 80 foot-pounds. All right, let's get this camshaft sprocket on. I've got the shaft, the sealing surface polished on the shaft there. Now to get it past the seal. Okay, that looks like it's right. Why does it feel like it has play? I don't think it's supposed to have play in that. It's got like a half a tooth of play. Why? That's the only direction it goes on. We have a new camshaft bolt. Oh, it's hollow all the way through for oil return, I guess. I guess it's not critical that that is aligned perfectly because the computer can adjust the valve timing, so we'll go with it. Okay, 22 foot-pounds. All right, there's 22, and now we have to go another 45 degrees. All right, let's try this again. Valve springing. Okay, 45 degrees from there is about got up to what, 70 foot-pounds? Anyway, this O-ring's an odd size. It's 39.4 by 3.1. This says, important, read special instructions included in this kit before removing plastic sleeve. Installation instruction sheet and gasket are under tray. So, I'm supposed to read it before I remove this sleeve. And to get to the instructions, I have to take the sleeve off. There's instructions in here and under the tray inside the plastic sleeve. So I don't know what they're trying to get at there. I know you guys do this too. You use your garbage cans as a workbench. Let's just clean up this thermostat housing a little bit. New gasket and thermostat. Connects to the water pump. Alternate sides when you're tightening these thermostat bolts down, because there's a rubber gasket and you don't want to tweak it all the way down to one side and then break off something when you hit contact on the other side. Alright, little gasket thingy goes in here. Let's install this water pump. This one right here is stripped out, and this one right here below it is also stripped out. So the water pump's at a stopping point, so let's deal with this passenger side cam sprocket and the oil seal there. Let's remove the oil seal. Here are the parts I need. Got the O-ring and then the cam seal set, exhaust and intake. Clean this up a little bit. Let's grease up this seal. Let's do this just like the other side. Again, just a teeny bit of RTV on the opposite sides, right where the halves line up. Right there. Pop this guy in there. Not enough room to swing. Let's take the old O-ring out and clean it up a little bit. Just gotta clean up the sealing surface a little bit. Let's install the cam sprocket. New intake cam bolt. We got the blue stuff for the threads. Oh yeah. Let's go like this. There we go. Okay, let's get to 22. Alright, so that's about 22. And another 45 degrees goes down to about even with this crankshaft. So let's see how many foot-pounds that is. About 74 foot-pounds. And sorry Ryan, but big thanks to Ryan down the street for letting me borrow his tools. Let's put this O-ring on. Since nothing slides on this O-ring installation, we can go in dry. Let's replace this crankshaft seal. My oh so favorite seal remover. I guess a little bit at a time. I got the tool in since it keeps slipping out. I'll put a little space between it on this side to take up a little bit of the slack. Let's see what happens when I push on it. Ouch. Pretty sure this isn't how it's designed to be used. Well. Oh, there's room enough to get in there. Woohoo! And go in there, and there we go. Alright. Clean this up just a little bit. Got the new seal for the front crank. Let's grease it up. Have to take out this water pump again for the thread repair. Well, this adapter failed at 114 foot-pounds. Let's try the other one. 120 something is when that broke free. Taking this back off so that I can get the gasket material in there that I didn't think we had, so it'll be all sealed against all the dust. 60, 70, about 78 foot-pounds, and it's loose. Nice. All right, let's get the weather stripping on this timing cover on the back side before we reinstall it. There's the part numbers for what goes around the back sides of the cams. Peel and stick. I'm going to start at the bottom so that the seam is at the bottom part of it. And it almost made it all the way around. Try the same thing at the top. I'll stretch this one just a little bit more. Alright, that one meets together. For the gasket that goes along here, there's the part number. And since the old one was along the inside here, I will just have to assume that was the correct place, so I will put the new one right there. This goes here. This bolt goes right there. Well, it came out like without pulling the dipstick all the way out. I have it unbolted. I don't know if I can get it back in without pulling the dipstick out, but let's give it a shot. Okay, there we go. I had to push the bottom cam, or over the bottom exhaust cam first and then the intake cam, and now it's pretty much in. Alright, they say that these guys right here go on the bolts. There's the part number. They go in here and there to hold this cover on. Oh, the grommet goes in first and then the bolt goes through it. Whoops. A little lube will help that go on. So let's just get a little bit of this. I'm using dielectric grease, multi-purpose. So we'll put that around this little grommet thing and see if that makes it go in easier. There we go. That one's in. Trenton's here to say hi. Alright, before we install the water pump, there's one more weather stripping piece we need to put in. Peel and stick. Alright, let's install this water pump again. And notice that the little pulley has a smaller bolt size than the big pulley, and so the little pulley is going to be lower torque specs. We'll tighten this one down to 29 foot-pounds. Get a little blue stuff on the threads. Wow, it's getting dark. Well, this small idler pulley is a smaller bolt size, and the book that comes with the timing belt set did not specify what the torque was for this one. So I'm going to assume about 13 foot-pounds. Since it's an 8mm bolt, we'll go with that for now. Hold the flashlight with my mouth, and there we go, 13. They say we need to compress this tensioner 3 times, very slowly, 1 minute at least, to push the thing down. Do it 3 times, because it might get air in there during shipping. No, they're not going to get air in this during shipping. I think really they've got a 3-minute manufacturing process that they're passing on to the customer. But here we go. So I'm just very slowly letting it drop with constant pressure. And now the pin comes out and we'll allow this to expand. It doesn't matter how fast it expands out. And then we'll compress it in a total of 3 more times, going very slowly because you don't want to over pressurize this. There's one. So the reason I'm using my press is because it's just easy. That's 2. That's the last one. Now the last time I'm going to compress this, I'll put the pin in. Okay, let's put the pin in from the front side. Ready to install. I'm going to need to take this cover off again because I need the tool to line up the timing marks. Yeah, that's right on the verge of spinning out. It's right where it wants to spin away. So I'll leave it about right there and put the belt on. Alright, let's get this timing belt in here. I'm going to line up my passenger side camshaft first. Maybe I want to take these off first. The keepers. You got new ones. I think we'll probably just put new ones on. I mean, this was rubbing on the belt. You can see by all that. All the keepers are off. So there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this cam a little bit so that I can line up my crank tooth right there. Now it's lined up. Now I'll turn the cam back. Now I need my inspection mirror to check out the alignment of the exhaust cam. Let's go over the water pump. line the belt up. Now we gotta line up the exhaust can. Squeeze that in the cover. What was that? I dropped the bolt. I must find it. If I don't, you know where lost bolts end up? Found it in the bumper cover. Okay, let's line up this exhaust cam now. Get the intake lined up. I need to get the timing mark on the belt to line up with the pulley over here. Well, how convenient. I've got it lined up. It's kind of, you get one lined up, then you do the next one, and then you have to come back and fix all the ones that slip. Just set the channel locks right here to keep a little bit of tension on the belt to keep it from slipping. Okay. Feed it over the crank pulley a little bit. One more tooth. Here we go. Yep, it's still lined up. Passenger side exhaust is one tooth off. Alright, I just need to turn this exhaust cam sprocket one tooth. Let's see. Well, passenger side snapped out of place now. Try again. Yep. Two more teeth. Bring the intake down a little bit over there. A little bit of pressure on the belt. One more tooth. Almost. Nope. Like they used to say at work, if it was easy, you could train a monkey to do it. The exhaust cam sprocket is lined up. Intake is not. Exhaust is still lined up. Alright, let's bring the tension towards where the tensioner goes. Now I just need to hold this in place since all the timing marks are lined up. Great. My Loctite is way over there. This better hold. Stay. Let's put this in there. Okay, 29 foot-pounds. 20, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 29 foot-pounds. Okay, all the timing marks are lined up. Now when I pull the pin, run. No, not you, the engine. Let's go ahead and install these 3 new keepers. Here, here, and on the other side on the bottom. There's only 3 of them. Now you don't want the belt to rub against these. These are only for if the belt flops up so that it doesn't skip time. You don't want it ever to be normally riding on this. You have to have space between the belt and this. Let's slide this over the fasteners. This spacer is for the crankshaft, but I'm going to use it for the cam spacer also. Alright, I'll just hold this down with the screwdriver while I tighten down the bolts. And that plastic thing will hold the space correctly for me. Dirt falling on my lips. Let's get this timing guide in over the crankshaft pulley. Torque spec is 78 to 95 inch-pounds. I'm going to set my wrench to 82. Let's hook up these hoses back up under the water pump. This is a salvage title car. I got the radiator in the mounts on the bottom, and yeah, it's not fitting very well. This is a new radiator. I'm pressure testing the radiator and the water pump gasket. It's a little late. I should have done this before I put the timing belt on, but I'm doing it now, so. Oh, I gotta put the cap over there on. Oh, this thing goes, I think I might have everything plugged off now, except for that thing. Let's try this again. There we go, now it's holding some pressure. Now where's it leaking? Yeah, right there, where the cap popped off. All right, let's try this again. Oh, it's at 22 PSI. We'll leave it there for a bit. See if anything's leaking. Okay, 21.5, coming down to 21. Okay, we have a slow leak. I'll just grab my ultrasonic microphone. Okay, there's no leak around the water pump gasket, but there is a coolant leak somewhere up here behind the air conditioning compressor. Okay, the leak is down somewhere behind the air conditioning compressor under the intake manifold. So we'll have to remove the air conditioning compressor to get back to wherever the leak is. I'll give this 2 full rotations just to make sure everything's good. Yeah, everything looks good. Really seems like something's missing here. This is the factory bolt that's supposed to go in that location according to the diagram and the part number, but really it seems like something's supposed to be between these two things. It just doesn't seem right. A word of advice about bolts. The water pump bolts are shorter than the timing cover bolts. This is a timing cover bolt. The water pump bolt is maybe 5 millimeters shorter. If you try to put a timing cover bolt in where the water pump goes, it's too long, and if you force it down, you'll strip the threads. Well, I'll just take this nut and put it on the bolt, use that to take up the slack so that it's not floppy and sloppy. Makes me feel a little better. When there's just not enough room to get your wrench in, so you've loosened it and then you can't get another bite this way. Oftentimes on a combination wrench, if you flip the end around, you'll be able to get it on and flip it back the other way and get in there and turn it just a little bit more so that you can get it loose. The old one was reusable. We could have cleaned it up, but we're going to use new timing cover and new gaskets. And new timing cover bolts. I'm just starting these. I'm not tightening any of them down yet because you want them all in before you start tightening them down. Otherwise you can have your cover off center and then the last few bolts just don't line, or the rest of the bolts might not even line up. Let's put the crankshaft pulley on. New timing cover with new bolts. Now please don't over tighten these. You got to remember this is going into plastic, and so just barely tight enough to not come loose is really what you need. We don't have a new passenger side timing cover, but we'll clean this one up and make it look like new. Well, it looks pretty good, right, for being used. But I'd set this aside under the hood and forgot where I placed it, so we're going to use the new one. I'll tighten the crankshaft pulley bolt to 96 foot-pounds. There we go. Let's reconnect to this condenser. Might be time to take a break, it's raining. This radiator was bent in the crash. It's kind of difficult going in because all the mounts are tweaked. Whole radiator mount, frame around it is bent. It's gonna be real fun getting a new one in here because you'll have to bend the mountain down there to get it straight. Check this out, you have to remove the timing cover to get the bolt for the AC out. Let's find this coolant leak. Filling the coolant and checking for leaks before I put this AC compressor back in place, because it's somewhere behind that compressor there. I can hear it in my ultrasonic detector, but I can't see it with spraying for bubbles. So we'll put coolant in it and see if any coolant drips out. Let's start it up and get some coolant circulating. Looks like there's an oil leak, and it looks like it's coming from the turbo's banjo bolt. No, it's not even tight, or not very tight, I mean. But we'll put a new, I think we got a copper washer that'll fit. Caught it. We'll slide this one in between. Got the new one on the banjo bolt there, so there's two new ones. Goes right down in the middle there. So now to crush the copper a little bit. There we go. Let's fire it up and make sure it doesn't leak. Hold on, let me break clean out just a little bit. All right, go ahead and fire it up. Never mind, let me charge the battery. Nice, not leaking.